Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Okay, so sorry about that. How is everybody today? So I had to change up my lighting a little bit here because there really isn't enough sun this past week. So it's kind of really gloomy outside. So I put myself in front of the window here. It should help everybody to see me better. Hi, Mary Beth. Hi, Brandy. Hi, Tammy. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you guys all came by to say hello. Okay, so da, 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 da. And we are doing. Hi, Francis. Hi, Talia. Okay, so I wanted to discuss. I'm halfway through the 2,000-page document of Christopher Watts's case, and sort of want to do a little bit of a shout out first to just say like the legacy that Shanann was trying to put forward on this earth is amazing. So let's continue sort of shining her bright and sort of sending out that online love to her. Love all of you guys too. Hi Sue. Hi Lori. Hi Donna. Hi Patty. Sorry I missed you. You're way up there. Your opinion is when Chris climbed into bed. Well, let's talk about some of this. Okay. So, like, obviously, it's an amazing thing that, her legacy should continue, right? But that being said, there was some concern with the extraction of the girls from the oil wells, that the skin was seeping. Now, when everybody, I don't know if everybody knows this. I should reiterate that phrase, but a lot of people know that when you die, your skin does start to fall away from the bones and stuff. That's sort of the beginning of the process of decomposition, I guess you could say. So sorry guys, I just want to make sure. Hi Holly. Hi Ray. Hi Laura. Hi everybody. I'm so glad you guys could all make it. So that's normal, right? Like the oil tanks were not let me just get a little bit higher up here. The oil tanks were not you know, hot oil. So they weren't being cooked while they were in there. Here, kitty, you see my cat in the background, right? I see him walking back and forth. It's because I've closed the door to the rest of the house there. So I've closed him off and he can't get to his food, but he's pretty healthy. He's not going to die. Hi, Matthew. Hi, John. Thanks for joining, everybody. So okay, so we've got. I like that it literally only took authorities like 2 to 3 minutes in each oil well to get the girls out. So, as they had spent quite a bit of time inside that oil well already. So it's a good thing that it was so quick. So Canada 41 or 411 guy, not Canada 411. Erase that I said that. That's how we search some things here in Canada. The no, the temperatures were not taken inside the oil tank, but okay. So one of them was 9 feet tall with crude oil, like 9 feet full of crude oil. The other one was only like 1.5 foot of it wasn't very much. So when they drained it, you guys, that's when they were able to take off the 12-inch like hatch. Like they would have Christopher Watts would have never been able to put his daughters through that, which is what one of the YouTubers had said, that because he thought that the diameter of the of it was sort of put, like the girls were put it through this thing, in this diameter of 12 inches, and it really was actually only 8 inches. So I just wanted to clarify that it was the back of the hatch that they had to take off. That thing was solidly solidified because when the oil is inside of there, it has to. You like my cat? You're going to tell me what? Well, I'm going to tell you they are banging on the walls at the jails. and all taking bets as to who gets him. Yeah, I've heard some pretty deadly things actually. And I think I have some viewers that have been in the penitentiary, and they were telling me that these guys, what they do and um, what they do to these guys that kill women and children, and it's not pretty. So that's whatever. That's Christopher Watts's problem, and he had a lot of options that he could have taken with Shanann and his daughters. He didn't need to kill them and take their lives. So, I mean, it's that old saying of you made your bed, now you're going to have to lay in it. Hi, Ernest. So whatever, I'm gonna stay more humble about it, you guys, because I'm like, whatever's gonna happen, that's jailhouse justice or prison justice, I guess you could say. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave that up to them. I almost don't even want to know about it. You know what I'm saying? What the graphic descriptions I got from some of the other people that follow me, I would be scared if I was Chris, to be honest with you. Like, this guy was mentioning the fact that they might just cut his tongue out of his face. Like, are you serious? Holy crap. That's deadly. So, you're in the oil field. Oil equals gold. Hi, Teresa. Yes, my love. I know I see him there too. You know what? He's not, we're not going outside right now. Cloud, come here. Stop. Anyway, so I want to go on about the fact that Shanann has a sister. Now, it's really, really nice that the family has, like the holidays are coming, you guys, with Christmas. I feel awful that Shanann's family doesn't even have, oh no, doesn't even have her, in their life. So, like, at least they have other family members. You guys can all hear me okay, right? I just want to make sure. Anyways, so it's nice that they have some family that they can sort of, surround themselves with. It's sad that Frankie Jr. could possibly need medication due to what Christopher Watts has done. He trusted him, and, Chris violated that in a huge way, right? So I think he should have to pay for that. He should be worried. And it isn't very nice what he did. So, jailhouse justice, yeah. Your daughter works as a court officer for 17 years. Stories are horrible. No kidding. I could imagine. Like I said, if I was Chris, I would be scared. Hi, Donna. Where can I get a document? It's actually someone posted the link, so you can find it right here on my channel. I just realized I had a little bit of, oops, not the middle finger. Sorry. I had some lipstick on my tooth there. Anyways, Watts, the wuss is crying like a baby. I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest. Hi, Mark Norris. You can hear me fine. Awesome. Sherry, #1 fan from India. Tammy, thank you so much. Okay, so you know what, Tammy, I'm still in process of setting up the merchandise store. To be honest with you guys, I've been so wrapped up in this document that's like 1,960 pages. So very, very lots of reading, lots of information. I haven't really spent any time on building that merchandise store yet, but it's coming soon. I promise you guys. I should be completely completed the document in like 2 days at most now, because I'm halfway there. So, and then I'll be able to fully update you guys. So, odd that Ronnie Watts, obviously he didn't like Shanann, so whatever, right? To each their own. I think that Shanann and his mom, Cindy, they had, the falling out in regards to the fact that she had nuts stuff in her house, after Shanann had asked her to take that stuff out of the house. She had, kept it in there and stuff, and kind of brought it out even when they were around. So I don't really agree with that. And I think I've said this before, I probably would have gotten really upset myself had that have been me. So hi, DJ Richards. Hi, Laura. Hi, Talia. So yeah, definitely. I agree. Like he he definitely is going to have some prison justice. What else is there? Missing comments here. I'm sorry, guys. Do I think? What do I think is sending? Or who do I think is sending Shanann's family death threats? That's ridiculous, right? I mean, honestly, absolutely ridiculous. Why anybody would want to send them threats at all? Like, don't they realize in this day and age that you can't act like that? Like, what's the matter with them? I don't understand, but whatever. Definitely thanks for sharing the link again for anybody who hasn't been able to find it. Tammy just posted it up for you guys, and you can definitely take a gander through it. It is a lot of information. So I want to make sure that I get all the points that I had sort of caught in this beginning part of the document because it's profound. There's a lot. Hi, Sue. Sherry's reading it. Yes, I am reading some of it too, guys. Sorry. I don't want to get so focused on what I'm trying to tell you and then I miss like so many different comments. Hi, Teresa. I think Shanann was the strong one in the relationship. Chris was sneaky. Yes, he definitely spent some time sneaking around and he covered it well, you guys. He was using gift cards from Anadarko and stuff for, following his safety well, and they were sort of rewarding him with this. But like I honestly, I think he knew very well what he was doing. And the one charge that he did charge on the credit card that was both of their credit cards, Shanann got a notification about it right away and was questioning him, $68 or whatever for salmon and some beer. It was pretty obvious something else was going on. And she knew that too, right? So let's talk about the mistress. Let's talk about the mistress. Now, you know what? Nicole Kessinger definitely knows a lot, and she's sort of, in my opinion, she's sort of made herself look more guilty in deleting things and stuff that she had, interactions she had with Chris Watts. I'm just gonna grab a pillow. Hang on one second. Sorry, guys. All right, so I think he dumped them in the tanks on purpose. Yes, and then those tanks did have like some like gases and things like that inside of there that sort of it started to deteriorate the skin of both the girls for sure. So there was a couple of skin pieces that had ended up in the oil well that they retrieved at the same time as retrieving the bodies. So that's pretty gruesome, like, and then the fact that Shanann had the fetus that had expelled itself from her body. So that was really, really sad to listen to or read. You were listening to something and they said back in July 2017 that Nicole Kessinger, you must have hit the return button. Hi, Sharon. It's evening in Europe. Great. Nicole knows a lot. Hey, Bad Bish. Thanks for joining. Definitely knows a lot. And she looked very similar to Shanann. I totally agree. It's funny because she said that she knew nothing about the family, but she had been in the house in July and contradicted herself in her interviews with authorities and FBI. She contradicted herself that she didn't know anything about Shanann and the girls, and that Chris had lied to her too, and she was playing the victim card and blah blah blah. But meanwhile, she had been inside the home and saw pictures of Shanann and the girls with Chris. So she knew very well that he had a family and daughters, right? Tammy, did you see that message about the phone number that you had put up and what had happened on my end with that? I thought it was kind of hilarious, to be honest. I hoped you got a good laugh about it anyways. Patty says she to Chris to sell Shenan's. Yes, she did tell Chris that he should pawn the wedding ring, and he was trying to figure out how much they would get for it and stuff like that. Sue says on a Facebook post, she said he was eating steak. I don't know. It says salmon and beers repeatedly in the interrogations and stuff, or the interviews, whatever you want to call it. So does anyone else feel they were seeing each other longer than she's stating? I think that that's very possible, but she says that the only people or person who knew about the relationship was her father. So kind of really will probably never get the answer to that. But in all honesty, like, this woman, came in to sort of take over Shanann's life and ended up, like, I don't know. In my opinion, it seems like she had a hand in that, and it seems like she kind of was encouraging for Chris to sort of do something or get rid of his family in order for them to be together. And that to me is just evil. And now the authorities have let her go to sort of go and do this again. And, like, oh man, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm trying to choose my words very carefully, because I think that she shouldn't have been able to just go, especially with the fact that she had hidden messages and deleted things and searched on how to delete things properly, searched on Amber Frey's case stuff with Scott Peterson. And, like, it seems very connected, in my opinion. They did find the wedding ring in the house. Was Chris that brought it to the authorities, and he said that he had found it on the nightstand in the kitchen or something, I think. Will literally burn your skin. The oil will literally burn your skin. Yes. And so they had been submerged in that oil, for well over 24 hours. So it was normal that their skin was seeping, not only to be decaying, but also in that oil with the fumes and the chemicals and stuff like that. So you're telling, oil will literally burn you. Yes. 18-year oil. I totally believe you. Oil equals gold. Recovering Baptist. She did know he was married. Yes. A coworker named Chris Rea. Yes. Yep. So, sorry, there's so many comments. I can't keep up. I don't have any help here to help me read any of these too and help start answering or whatever. Tammy, feel free as moderator to answer any of the questions above you and stuff too. Yes. I don't think that there's going to be very many people that are going to profit from this, to be honest. Faith is saying that she wondered if Chris and his girlfriend are still together. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? And the love letters that are coming in for him are brutal. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. I don't understand some people. To each their own. I'm trying not to be a judgmental person either, but whatever. It's kind of pretty crazy. So, what we do know is that Chris was the one that sort of confronted Shanann and wanted the divorce. Shanann was the one that sort of realized things were ending and first contacted the real estate agent, but it ended up being Chris who was communicating with the real estate agent in order to get the house up for sale, which was really odd and weird behavior, because the real estate agent in the past had dealt with them in their previous purchases of homes and always dealt with Shanann. So it was odd that even the group chat with the three of them, Shanann wasn't sort of weighing in on any of the conversation with her opinion or her thoughts or whatever. I strictly believe that if Shanann and the girls had stayed in North Carolina and not moved to Colorado, she very well may still be alive. I think that the pressures that came with the move and his job demotion, I want to say, but he wasn't demoted, because he was like, he was the foreman and the runner and the one in charge and all of that, in a sense, on his, sites. So, it's not that he was demoted, but his he was making less money, and he wasn't asking for raises for the amount of responsibility that kept getting sort of piled on top of his plate, So I think it's almost his own darn fault that he didn't ask for more money. That's what you have to do in a job, is sort of state why you are owed more money, why you are deserved more money, and things like that, right? Okay, so wonder how many search Nicole's did on Watt's computer, Ray is saying. I'm not sure on that one, honey. Yeah, Sunkissed, I'm not sure if she actually, I think she may have said that, like she may have called Shanann names and stuff like that, but okay, so I think it's odd that Chris was going over to his neighbor's house to check out the camera footage and stuff of him backing into the garage. I thought that was, pretty suspicious. Really think Nicole was part of it. I too think that she was a little bit more part of it. I wish that they had some footage from the taxi cab. Who did the taxi cab pick up? Because Chris is saying that he doesn't know what that charge is on his credit card, but I guarantee you that he knows what that charge is on his credit card. And I wonder, was it his girlfriend that was over, or like what? How? Because he's trying to say that could have been Shanann leaving with the kids, but we now know that it wasn't. So who was in that vehicle in the cab? I'd like to know. But whatever, that's just me. And then did you guys also catch the fact that the coworker named, I think it was Melissa Parrish, when she rolled up on the Survey 319 site, she actually noticed Chris Watts with his pants tucked in and seemed a little bit flustered, out of breath. What does it say? And he had a shovel that he was digging, at the work site. She was new. She didn't know why he would have the shovel. She didn't really catch on that any of this was odd. And so nothing seemed out of the norm, and she didn't really say anything about it, right? So I thought that was super interesting. And had she have not been a new employee and knew what was happening on the site and what everyone was supposed to be doing, it was just a mainline break. That's the other thing too, is that Chris parks his truck over by the west side there when the repairs were like over farther away than that in a different area. So it was odd for him to be, parked all the way in that weird space, right? So, I don't know. He seemed normal Monday, his day of work. He just seemed like, he was talking about the ball game he went to and everything like that. I don't understand how he could be so normal after doing something so heinous, though. There is a sight glasses to check the side of the tanks. Trucks pull off on a 4-inch connection at the bottom of the tank. He knew what he did because he knew someone would have found them. He's sick. I totally agree. He's totally sick. Totally. Recovering Baptist says the town of Greeley, where Watts is now. He won't stay there, of course. He lived just a little bit away from there. Hi, Paul. You don't have to feel like you have to retract your message. You can say whatever you want. Yes, we can definitely say Nico. You're funny, Nico. Like sicko, but Nico. Yes, I totally got that. Bad Bish says, do a search of Lisa Frey, Scott Peterson's mistress. Like, really? Yeah, that was really big. Hey, Elena. Yeah, you know what, you guys, and I just have to say, while I have so many of you on here, that I'm so sorry for the disruption in what time I was going to be starting the show. I've been trying to find a time that works for everybody, and recently changed that time. So I was doing it first thing in the morning when I got up, but I didn't realize that my time zone was so different to so many people that are watching. So I needed to retailor that, and decided to start later in the afternoon so that I can have, more of you join. We can all talk together. Hey, Sarah. When did he go to the neighbors to see the video? That was when that first went down. So he had already just gone and buried them and dumped the bodies, and he was back home before the police were coming and stuff like that. This was information that the neighbor had given to authorities, that Chris was over trying to see the footage of the camera, that was pointing towards his house. Like, that's super suspicious. That was before he was arrested and confessed and all that jazz, right? So I'm just kind of doing a recap of reading the first half of this huge document so that you guys don't necessarily have to go read it. You can in your leisure time. There's a lot of information in there. So I just thought might be easier to recap some of it for you guys. But I did want to say sorry for changing the times on you guys. That had just recently happened. I felt really bad that we had some inconsistency there, because I like to stay consistent. So mark your calendars. We're going to be doing Tuesdays and Saturdays between 2 and 4, and that's GMT time zone. So you'll have to research what that is for your time zone, and join. Come and say hi. I mean, it's awesome to all talk together. So yeah, I know. I totally want to know who was in that cab, Bad Bish. Recovering Baptist says he actually Googled the Ghastly song Battery by Metallica. Yeah. No, but the babysitter had a ride. I don't think that it was the babysitter that was in the cab, because he had a babysitter on Saturday night. He's talking about a cab charge to his card on like Monday. So, and he was, in my opinion, he was trying to make it sound like that was when she left, and that's how she left. That's why her vehicle was left behind. That's why, there was no evidence of her leaving, kind of thing. So I didn't buy it at all. And I'd really love to know who was in that vehicle, who was in that cab ride. His mom needs to stop acting like her son is innocent. Well, to each their own on that one, because a lot of us disagree with that. He is guilty. He looks so different in the court. Yeah, he looks like he's getting like ill. Who wouldn't be after doing all that garbage? Like, he should feel ill, right? One of Chris Watts's Alvera, hi, says one man, Chris Watts, can cause such horrible things to happen, and all these people he uses to manipulate. Yeah, it's very unfortunate for sure. Oh man, there's so many comments, you guys. If I miss your comment, can you please just let me know so I can scroll and find it and answer your question? Because I don't want any of you guys to get upset. Like, I'm not trying to find and answer every question that's coming through, you guys. So if I miss it and you really want an answer, please just holler at me. Be like, hey, I asked you this, and I will find it and answer. The police have gotten a few calls about some women walking around the house, lights being on in the house. Yeah, Patty, but there was the investigators that came in for the defense for his side that were taking photos and had permission to be in there. So that was validated. Garage lights, Patty, after they were all turned off. Rumpelstiltskin says, no, it wasn't the babysitter, McKenna, the sitter. Her mother collected her. Very true. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. And the sitter was on Saturday. And yes, her mother came because she sat outside waiting for Chris to show up. He was 10 minutes late from his outing at the ball game and stuff and dinner, right? So, excuse me, pardon me, sorry. He was a sheep trying on the wolf. Yeah. It's very common to have a girlfriend in the oil field. Sheep fall in love, but one side of the wolf keeps running. Interesting theory. Oil equals gold for sure. Do I think he was sleeping with both his girlfriends and his wife? Yes, he did have another affair with a lady named, I think it was Haley Ferris, that he had an affair with too. So he seemed to have like reoccurring infidelity issues in his marriage. And let me tell you, that was the beginning of the end right there. If he was turning away from his wife for comfort, you know, like that was the beginning of the end for sure. Everybody hit the like button. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, if everybody wanted to hit the like button, that would be awesome. If you're enjoying the conversation with me, I appreciate the support. Thank you guys. Zanny says, I feel like they will get him in prison. I know they will get him in prison, you know, because here's what I've learned from a person who's been in the jail system. And this is what he said to me. The guards don't want a riot. They don't want a riot. So they don't want to have to deal with 50 or 100 or more men that are mad because they can't bring some prison justice to the person that they're hunting. And let's face it, he's been all over the news. Everybody knows the guy's story and knows what he did. So, you know, they're going to probably look the other way and leave that door open or turn around and somebody's going to get him. So, and I didn't realize that that's kind of how it went, but you know, that's probably the truth, you guys. They don't want to make everybody in general population pissed off because of one guy that's in protected population, you know. So I don't know if they're going to sue, if they're going to arrest Nicole. I feel like they had their opportunities to do that and they've let her go. And now that they've made all of this public, you know, we're all sort of talking about it and everybody's looking at her a little bit differently, probably. Donna says, yes, they were having a lot of sex before she went to North Carolina. Yes, well, that's what was so confusing for Shanann, is that they were so close and everything before she left. And then, you know, he comes out to North Carolina for a week and it's all like, she had to ask him for a kiss at the airport and, you know, beg him for a hug. And like, he didn't want to touch her. He didn't want to look at her. She knew something was different and that he had changed for sure. NYC says the friend Cassie was also texting Chris. Yes, many of Shanann's friends were texting with Chris to ask him what was going on and if he was concerned and you know what was happening and where was Shanann, because it wasn't normal for her to not be answering her phone as soon as she got in from a business trip. She would have been posting, she would have been online. There was, you know, no sound or sight of her, and many people were concerned and messaged Chris out of her friends. She said he was disheveled. Another coworker said he was flustered a bit. His boss McCoy knew he had something to do with it. Yes, I think that his boss did have some inclination that he was somewhat guilty, and started piecing together the fact of how he was acting at work and what was maybe odd. The fact that he was wearing different boots and that they were tucked in and things like that. You know, he was clearly thinking about covering things up. You know, he said that he had to go to the bathroom and he went and, you know, buried like some dirty pillowcases and stuff. So he was definitely trying to cover his track. Hi, Tiny Magical Creatures UK. Nice you could make it. Thank you for watching. And if you guys are enjoying the show so far, a thumbs up would be a good support. I really appreciate it. You love that all the guys in jail are betting who's going to make him his bitch. Yeah, you know what? I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are going to want a piece of this Chris Watts, right? I didn't like that his family didn't attend their wedding. That was another fact, as well as you know, the fact that Kessinger had lied about not knowing about the family, yet said that she was in his house in July and saw pictures of the family. So she knew about Shanann and the girls. You know, her story changes, and the inconsistency of that is not like, I think that's, you know, it makes her accomplice, in my opinion. She really just shouldn't be allowed to walk around, to be free to find another man to ruin his life, you know, and find another woman to take her place. So, Tammy, feel free to answer any questions as my moderator. I really appreciate your help. That's awesome. Happily ever after. Can't wait till they put out the next evidence. Yes. The full disclosure document has been out, but there won't be, the links for some of the things won't be included for us, you know, such as some of that evidence. And Shanann is an amazing lady, and we should keep her going for sure. And at the end of the interrogation or interview, I should say, with Ronnie Watts, it was weird that he showed the FBI guy like a video of Cindy, his wife, playing with the granddaughters as if to say, like, we care, see, we care. It's like, that's really weird. Hi, Deb. Hi, Anzar. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Coming in a couple days. Oh, 3 terabytes. Perfect. Well, if we're allowed to see that, that is amazing. I can't wait. Your name is happily ever after. My ex-husband did the same exact thing. Well, at least you're alive to talk about it, right? I mean, I know, like, it sounds horrible, but sheesh. I'm glad you got away from that and you're safe now, though, for sure. So there was a few things in the interview thing that I thought was interesting, but the ending of Chris Watson, his dad or whatever, that was really weird. So, and then the very first interview with Nicole Kessinger was conveniently not recorded, which I'm really, why? I mean, it was a murder investigation. That's really weird that any of her interview wasn't recorded. I'm just reading my notes here. So, like, and also when Chris Watts went to North Carolina, I believe that he was going there to break it off, but he ended up telling Nicole that Shanann wanted to break it off, which was just a bold faced lie. And it was funny that the authorities told Nicole Kessinger because she got upset at one point in the interview. She couldn't believe that this had happened. And the police officer says to her, um, have you considered getting any mental help yourself, or do you need any mental assistance? Yeah, maybe you do. Maybe you should go get checked. Oh my goodness. Anyways, she said that she was fine and carried on the interview, but like seriously, I'm sure she caught that when the guy was saying that to her, right? Um, Hi, Cassie. Do I know they wanted 190 for a month? What's that? Tammy. Yeah, the calculator app, some sort of like thing to hide your text messaging. But they had work phones too, right? They had work phones and they had their personal phones. So there was, data to be collected from both, clearly. Hi, Sandy. Glad you could make it, fellow Canadian. Canadiana. So, what are some of the other points here that I wanted to touch base on? So the fact that Chris Watts is, 42,000 in debt for just the court proceedings. Frankie Jr. was stating that he may actually want to take counseling, and he is suffering from depression right now, and he's probably going to need some medication to help level all of these feelings and everything that's going on. So Chris Watts, if he thought he was in a lot of debt before all of this, he certainly is in a crap ton more debt now, don't you think? I don't know what time the cab ride was at Bad Bish. And I heard that it was like $400 a month for Thrive to keep that going, but I don't know if that number is accurate. You know what does it say? You know what? I will come back another time because I don't want to know more than where you are at. Yeah, Nancy, I'm about halfway through right now. And you're going to see that there are several interviews with Nicole Kessinger. A lot of the information seems contradicting. And a lot of the information is repetitive because multiple people came and told the same story to the officers. So, but you'll see that as you go through it, as well as when you're going through that document, you guys, they include a picture of the handwritten notes, but they also include the manuscript of it being typed. It's typed out. So the transcript of those notes are also included. So you may be double reading some things, but Feel free to pop back in, at a later time. I don't know. I don't think that you'll get any more from me than what you'll get reading the document. You know what I mean? And there is a lot of information there because there were so many different people that were involved and spoken to and cross spoken to. So if Chris had spoken to some of Shanann's friends, Shanann had spoken with some of Chris's friends. They had met some of the coworkers in different instances and gatherings and barbecues and things like that. So I don't think she knew they released the document. It shows her false statements to the news. Ansar, I don't know what you're saying. Teresa, she can delete her messages all she wants. Police can still forensically extract the deleted messages. It just looks suspicious that Nicole was deleting messages at all, in my opinion. So the autopsies were, pretty sensitive issues, you guys. Be wary going into, if you are going to read these documents and this information, because it is very descriptive. And Shanann was pregnant, and we all know, well, a lot of us know that when you pass away, your body sort of excretes all, fluids from the body. So, defecating, urinating, and she was pregnant. So that would include her, uterus. So very, very hard to read. I myself teared up for her, realizing all of that. It was really, really sad to read. Don't. Oh, it's hard to keep up. I'm sorry, you guys. And the other thing I wanted to touch base on is all the people that were making sort of false accusations. So the gay person that came forward, there was also a woman that came forward stating that she had had an affair with Chris over Facebook and stuff. And like the authorities took the time to track down these people and interview them only to find out that it was a crock of crap. Like, talk about a waste of time and sort of jeopardizing the process of the investigation, like manpower and time and energy and all of that they wasted on people who just thought it was funny, or you could, because you can, go and make something up and put it out online. I thought, oh, come on. Like, that was kind of a disrespectful move on the people who chose to do that. I will be a judgmental person to those fan mails. The fan mails are brutal. Some of them are love letters. Some of them are hate mail. Some of them are supportive. Well, I read one of them that was from a woman inmate that's, serving time for financial fraud or something. Like, there's all kinds of women that are sending in letters from all around the world to this guy right now. Part about how she was found. Yes, he is such a scumbag. Happily ever after. Sandy says, Mama Sugar is me. Okay. You've got to go. Oil equals gold. All right. Well, you take care. Have a good day. Peace. Tiny Magical says, 3 precious people we were forced to watch for months because of social media and plunder. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but we have to move past all of that now and know the process was handled accordingly by the officers, the FBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, so the CBI. There was a lot of effort that was really put into her case here, and I think that that's admirable, and I think it gives us hope to know that there's still a lot of good out there, with our judicial system, with our law enforcements. There's still good heart out there. There's a lot of bad too, but we could choose which one we want to focus on, right? And that doesn't have to be the bad. So the Janice says, did he pull? No, it expelled Janice when she died. Probably told Nicole he was going to hurt them. I think that Nicole knew something about this. I think that's why she deleted everything and stuff. I don't know what kind of conversations they would have had, but I have a feeling that she knew. So, okay. So the call log for Christopher Watts from jail, nothing super interesting going on there. Basically, just calls to his lawyer, um, a few calls that weren't connected, and then some that weren't able to be recorded. Nobody of huge importance. So, very emotionally invested as we all are. Why are we sitting here on this live chat now? Tiny magical creature. Sorry. Sometimes I do pause for just a second. I know that I need to keep it rolling and keep you guys interested and focused. So, and let's talk about the fact that Nicole was so involved and knew so many things and details that she contradicted herself in many of her interrogations slash interviews with the FBI and with law enforcement. She didn't, she wasn't forthfront and upcoming and everything and honest. And then she deleted a bunch of information. I feel, that I don't know. I feel that they shouldn't have just let her go to carry on life and do that again. I feel like she could very well do that again and do it more succeedingly this time. And that's just scary, to know that there's a woman out there like her that could be trying to take your man. It could be, you know, like it's just what are some of these women thinking? Hi Sandy from Calgary. And Natalie, you made it. California. I did want to touch base on the California fires. I was going to do that in the beginning before we got started, but now we have so many viewers on here just interested in the Chris Watts, so I don't really want to change directions just yet. I'll wait until I'm getting closer to the end and do a little update for that. So, shenanigans. The threats to Shanann's family are heartbreaking. I don't understand why anybody would even want to be upset at her family at all. And even Chris's family, you guys. I honestly I don't blame the parents for his actions. I strictly believe that he's an adult and he's capable of making his own decisions, and he was already raised and he was raised in a decent family. He was okay. He was not a sadistic kid. He didn't kill animals. He was just a quiet, shy boy who was hardworking and went to school. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason that anybody should be blaming the families. The families did their jobs already. These people were well into their adulthood life and their own raising of their own children. What he did was completely despicable. And in my opinion, has nothing to do with his parents or her parents or whatever. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sandy from BC. And Tiny. And why I ask myself, because they were so normal and there were no signs, although I believe there were, and she too wrapped up in the aesthetics of life to notice the warning signs. Yes. And I think that us women often do that, and it's scary. I think this is an eye opener for a lot of us, that not to ignore those signs. If Shanann would have listened to her gut instinct when she first met Chris, she may still be alive because she would have chosen to not be with him. But she chose to try to make that work, for whatever reason. I think she really liked how they looked together. They were a very good looking couple, right? And if she was looking to portray a perfect, wonderful life on social media sites and stuff like that, I could see him fitting the bill for what she was looking for quite easily. I could see why she was attracted to him and appealing and all of that. And he was probably very caring at one point, and everything was probably really good at one point. But at some point, things went very wrong, and nobody made the choice to sort of step back and walk away. Everybody sort of stayed in it far too long until it was just deadly. So that's scary, and I think that we should all listen to our gut instinct and go with that. Don't second guess it, ladies, because, or gentlemen, if you're in whatever relationship you're in, folks, like I encourage you to make sure you're taking care of yourself too, right? She said he was great about, yeah, he was really great before she left. They were making a lot of love. They had their hands couldn't stop all over each other and stuff. And maybe he was willing to try to make things work at one point, but he certainly he backtracked and went to he never left Nicole alone to give it a chance to work with Shanann. The fact that he had one foot in with Nicole and one foot in with Shanann just tells me that he wasn't really trying to make it work with his wife because he had his other foot in with Shanann. So, I mean, with Nicole. So, that's not making an effort. Shanann said Watts was not her norm. He pursued her. Yeah, and she did have a little bit of odd feelings in the very beginning, she admitted, right? The women they cheat on their wives with are always less than the wife, and oftentimes non-descriptive looking. Well, I think the attraction that Chris Watts had with Nicole Kessinger is the fact that Nicole Kessinger is financially stable. She's very okay financially, and she's admitted that. And Shanann, she worked Lavelle and she worked really hard and whatnot, but she probably didn't make oil well money. Let's face it, that's a very lucrative industry, and most people are well paid in that field. So I think that's the reason that Chris was attracted to her. I think he thought that life would be easier with Nicole due to them having similar jobs and probably similar incomes. They could have lived a good life together, but he was already married and already had children and a family and a ton of debt and all this, stuff going on. It wasn't even possible for him to switch routes at that point. Well, I mean, it would have been, but it would have been financially damning on him for sure. Does anyone know? Shoot, I scrolled it and I lost it. Sorry. Been there. He was a mess when he met Shanann. Did not have a high paying job. Yeah. Well, and they both worked for the Ford company for a while, right? She was the boss's daughter. Nicole was, yes. And, she was very well paid. So I think that Chris Watts saw that and thought, I want that. I don't want to struggle, and thought that he could switch lanes. I believe that Nicole knew a lot as well. She as well deleted her Facebook. Yeah. When a man is having an affair, Natalie says lots of times it's all about the sex. So they go home and have sex. That's true. And their pattern was like that. Before they would go out for dinner, they would have sex. Then they would go out to eat something and come home and have sex again. That's just a new relationship, or, like a high drive. Like, I don't know. Ray says, you think he was afraid of future cost of 3 kids? Yeah, but I mean, he was the one that was saying that he wanted another baby. So for him to change his mind on that, that's not something you can easily return. Conceiving a baby, and so, it wasn't even something that Shanann had brought to his attention. It was him that brought it to her and said, what do you think? Should we have another one? Thinking that was going to fix the relationship. And if there's any advice that I can give, that would definitely be the most worst wrong way to try to fix a relationship is to bring a child into it, hoping that will work. Not only does it add a ton of stress, a ton of work, emotions and all kinds of things attached to having a new baby in the house. Like, it's a lot. So that's never a way to try to fix or repair a relationship, in my opinion. Sarah says deleted Facebook is never really deleted. Well, I think there is a way that you can contact the company and really get them to delete you so that you'd have to recreate a brand new account, start brand new fresh. I think Chris did think he was moving on to money for sure. In the documents, it said, happily ever after says it said, I'm guessing around the time he killed them, that he couldn't perform for Nicole. I see. I know that he saw Nicole on Saturday, but they are both saying that they didn't see each other after that, which I think someone, if not both of them, might be lying about. I think that she was probably at that house while Shanann was gone, and I think that they're just not being very honest about it. Read Discovery, and you'll see she was subcontractor, fired from both sub and main contract. When was she fired, Anzar? I didn't see that. Bad Bish says, I can't get over the effing cab. I know. Like, who came? There's cameras in cabs now. So we've got to be able to track that down, can't we? Is there not, like, did they not try to figure out what cab came to their house or see the footage from the neighbor's camera of who got into that cab, Catherine Harvey, they had only 2,000 in checking and 1,000 in saving. I heard that they only had like $800 in one account, and they were going for consolidation on a $1,500 debt that they had owed or something. And I can't remember who that was to. Why can't the police retrieve the deleted messages? They can. I'm not sure if they have. I know, like, I'm just kind of in halfway mid of this document, you guys. So I'm trying desperately to get as much information as I can for you, but you'll have to give me a little bit more time. I've only had it for like a day and a half. I'm scrambling to get through. That's all I've literally done from morning until night for the past 2 days is read this thing, just trying to get on top of it all. So world peace is but a fantasy so long as there exists religion, says Yadiz. Yes, that's probably true. Jahid, I didn't see your question. You'll have to say it again. There's way too many comments coming through too quickly. I cannot catch everybody's. I did state that if I've missed your question, please let me know. I'll scroll and try to find it, or just let me know. Say, hey, like put a hand out, and then I know, okay, this person's trying to ask a question. Those poor babies, what a demon. He was a subcontractor as a land surveyor. So sorry. I'm trying not to miss you guys over here. I've got a couple of the lives connected at the same time. But Facebook folks, I know that you guys are just more following me instead of interacting as my YouTube does. So retrieve what, Sandy? Is Rumpel Jules, what are you talking about? Retrieve what, Sandy? Oh, you're asking somebody something. Sorry. Sandy, take your time. Sherry, it's difficult, you guys, because there's so much. And if you see, like, I like to keep cards on pointers, and I literally, I have touched base on most of it right now. So we're just sort of going on questions and whatnot. As far as I know, Shanann and Chris only had one bank account for themselves. It was joined. And Nicole did look up book deals, but more to do with Amber Frey, which looks suspicious, like that's something she's trying to do now. Your question, Sarah, is how were the girls smothered? With his hand. Can you believe that? He literally put his hand over their mouth and nose until they couldn't breathe. I thought it was with a pillow, but it wasn't. It was actually with his hand that he physically put pressure over their face. And Bella, it is written that she fought. She fought for her life. She tried to get away. She tried to get out from under his hand and pressure, but I'm sure she was probably in her mattress in her bed. Deb says Shannon was not narcissist, unlike some folks' opinion. Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's fine. And you can even share it here, you guys. The only thing that I don't really like is when somebody starts bashing another person for having an opinion, you know? I don't think that any one of us is necessarily more right or wrong than the other. So addicted to this case, Sandy. Yes, I hear you. Thank you for my time, Francis. Becca, very, very welcome. I'm just trying to see if there was more questions that I maybe missed here. So horrific. I know I thought it originally was a pillow, but it was his hand pressured on over their nose and mouth. So Bella had bit her tongue a few times. Celeste, I guess, didn't put up any type of a fight, but no. She did, and that's why she wants the book deals and appearances. Yes. Rest in peace, beautiful angels. Absolutely. Yeah. Man, when I was reading the document of the extraction of the bodies, I thought that that was pretty brutal. No me. Cat, seriously. I agree, Sherry, but also dislike it when people try to change the facts and evidence for their own agenda. Jules, has somebody done that, or could you be a little bit more specific on what you're talking about? Yeah, the sex positions and stuff, Catherine. Again, whatever, to each their own, but if this was a game of hide and seek, God is the winner. Yeah, it is. That's funny. Monster Tiny Creature says, I totally agree. Fire away. Sandy says, okay, I'm working on it, girl. You know what? But I don't want to sound too repetitive. I did already touch base on a lot of these in the first hour. The fact that he had an affair with Haley Ferris, you know, that was something that was just completely negated in a sense. And then the fact that the 411 YouTube guy said that the girls were actually put through the 12-inch diameter hole. That was the latch holding the oil well together that was like after they had drained it. So Chris wouldn't have been able to load them in that way. It was through the 8-inch hole at the top. Bella's butt was scratched. Hairs on her head were caught in the it's called like a thief trap on the oil well. And then, like I said, Bella had in her autopsy report, she had bite marks on her tongue from fighting to get out from underneath being smothered. I'm sure that she was just terrified. And that, you know, like we know for a fact that it takes like 4 minutes to smother someone, to take their very last breath. So that is a long time that Chris would have stood over the bed doing that. For 4 minutes, I can't even imagine what like they were going through. My heart just bleeds for them. Like brutal to the man that they trusted, you know, that they thought they could trust. That's just heartbreaking, right? And Yadis, you are welcome to all of your own beliefs and thoughts and opinions. I'm glad you feel comfortable to share. And shoot, I missed some things. Yeah, the 8 inches was correct. It was the back latch that they took them out of that got confused in the 411 guys, recount of the story. And the fact that they had moved from North Carolina, where both of them had family, They moved to Colorado where neither of them had any family. That's got to be really difficult and strenuous on the marriage, on the family altogether, to go from having all that support so close to home to go into a place that you have no support and brand new friends and stuff is really difficult. So the 411 dude is really cool. I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't the 12-inch hole that the children went through. That's where they were extracted from. That's all I was saying by that. But it took hours to drain Brandy. I think like 6 hours to drain the 9 foot of crude oil that was in the one. There was only like 1.5 feet in the other oil well. So not as much to drain, didn't take as long. And it literally took authorities 2 to 3 minutes from the time that they were timed going into the oil well to extract the little girls' bodies out of the oil well and get out themselves. It was literally between 2 to 3 minutes for both girls. So I thought that was very quick. Were very organized. They had, set up a meeting. They had a person from Anadarko come to do like a safety rundown for everybody, and they were very organized. They had pools ready to put the girls into to sort of wash them sort of immediately, and their coroner was there with oil. What do you call it? Sorry, fumbling my words right now. Like not paper towel, but things that would absorb the oil so that they could quickly wash them off and get as much of that off immediately, before transporting them for autopsy to the coroner's office. I'm sure they did make sure that nobody really watched the extraction. They wanted people to just look away and stuff. I'm sure that those are really hard things to see. So I think that was respectful of them to just say, please, just don't look, kind of thing. Hi, pro game Fortnite. Kala. I don't know what that means, but Chris Watts was always creepy to you, Catherine is saying. He was always lurking. Badfish says, Sandy. That's what I was thinking. The bites were from her trying to struggle to get out from underneath her father's hand that was smothering her. You believe Critter says, I believe Chris Watts was glad to start over. I believe that Chris Watts saw Nicole Kessinger as more of a dollar sign to appease his debt, and they could live a little bit of a happier life financially. I think that was a really, really poor decision on his part, and I'm sure he regrets that now. He sure wanted to start over, Tammy. You're right. Now he can, eh? And if, like I said, if he thought that he was in a lot of debt before, just wait until all of the charges, everything that's going to come into play from Frankie Jr., from Frank Ruzick, her father, Shanann's father, and the family needing any medication or counseling or further help in any way, shape, or form is going to get charged to Chris Watts. It's not something that they're going to have to pay for out of their own pocket, and nor should they have to when this man was a person who destroyed their whole lives, right? Yeah, and you know what? You guys can read the discovery of the document. The link is here, you guys, so you can read that from my channel. It'll bring you to another page, but please take a moment and look through it because it is pretty intense and interesting to see how many people cared to come forward sort of all at once. Like, it didn't take long for Nicole Atkinson, Shanann's best friend, to realize something was amiss because, she just never not answered someone's messages, and when Sandra, Shanann's mother, couldn't get a hold of her, the school suddenly talked to Sandra and said like Chris had called to say the girls weren't coming and that the family was moving, and like that's cold and calculated that you're already trying to cover up what you had done by covering your bases so that people in the system wouldn't get worried that the girls didn't show up for school and stuff. Like talk about covering your tracks. Hi, Ilona Amigorina. Sorry if I'm not saying that right. Hi, Sherry. Could Chris Watts have planned this? It sounds to me that you're from Germany. Oh, sorry. That's awesome. I'm part German, but I've never been to Germany. My last name is Wiens, so it's German. Anyways, you know what? I think that he did somewhat plan this because he was messaging with his Anadarko employees, like people, coworkers he worked with, to say that he would go to the site on Monday morning to check on the repairs. So he was talking about doing that, you guys, on Saturday while he had the girls in the back seat of the Lexus in the parking lot with his Anadarko coworker. He was saying, I will go and check on the oil site on Monday morning. Don't worry. So no, don't both of us go. There's no sense in both of us going. I'll go, and he really convinces his coworker that he doesn't need to go too. That Chris has got this. He's going to take it. He's going to fix the repair at Survey 319, which is the site that he ended up dumping the 3 bodies at. And he knew that on Saturday. So that seems pretty premeditated, in my opinion. And I would imagine that that's something that the DA had laid out in front of him to say, listen, like we've got, interviews with your coworkers stating you telling them that you're going to go to the site, you're going to take care of this. That's planning, in my opinion. It is proven that Chris took the pictures to send it to Shanann. Yes, the doll with the blanket over top on the couch was definitely sent by Chris Watts. Again, a warning sign, probably stating like that's something he was about to do to her daughters, Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tammy. Yeah, Deborah, the pic about the doll was something that Chris had sent to Shanann. Like, pretty much, I would consider that a threat, Watts looked up the dealerships on Audi. Jules, you're saying? I know it's so like heartless. He was sitting there in her Lexus vehicle with his daughters, pretty much planning the fact that that's where he was going to dump those bodies later. That's what I get from all of that. Yadiz is going all religious on us. Dawn says, what day was the picture? It was when she was gone on a vacation that was sent. And I can't remember exactly where she had gone right now. I'm sure somebody else can pop that answer up for us, though. Nicole is the hero. You know what? I totally agree with you. I think that Chris was going to wait until the evening to really clean things up and cover his tracks, and he didn't count on anybody sort of alerting authorities early on after he had just finished dumping them, because they were on the scene by lunchtime. She had disappeared sometime in the morning, wee hours of Monday morning, and like they were there by lunch kind of thing. So it did not take them very long. Thanks for the compliment, Ed. Ed Anthony. G. Marie says, Nicole did not want a man who already had kids. Yeah, but I don't know. She contradicts herself. She says, oh, I thought it was endearing. First, she said she has no idea that he has kids. And then it's admitted that she was actually in the house. She actually saw a picture of Shanann and the girls. So she knew darn well that he was quite married. I had the Alexa stuff was supposed to catch any argument that went on with Nicole or Shanann and Chris. And like I said, I'm about almost halfway through this document kind of thing. Like I'm right there to the halfway mark. So I'll have to keep you posted on the Alexa stuff, unless someone else knows. I'm okay to find out early. It's probably in like the second half, I'm sure. I think the pic was disgusting symbol of what was to come, Angela says, and I totally agree with you. And the doctor's appointment, I found out was confirmed by authorities who had questioned the receptionist at the doctor's office, and it was her that verified that Shanann usually would call to um, reschedule her appointment, and she had done that in the past, but she had not done that this time. You hope that Atkinson doesn't read the documents you feel so bad for. I wouldn't doubt if they already have, though, you guys, because many of them, the friends of Shanann, were concerned about having personal conversations about their own sex life, their own intimate life, their own relationship life be broadcast throughout all, for public information, because you had to be, they wanted to know that there wasn't going to be those types of things that was shared. It was only going to be including conversation about Shanann and Chris. So there were some of the friends that were requesting, the officers not include some of that stuff. Like it really wasn't anybody else's business, and it's not. The video from Bella on Shanann's Facebook left you in tears, Nina says. Yes, absolutely heartbreaking. Rose Bruno, NK, so Nicole Kessinger was ghosting Shanann on Facebook in 2017. I wouldn't doubt it. I honestly feel like she kind of wanted to take her spot, which, like, come on, like their whole life was already made with the children and stuff. You really think that was going to be such an easy switch of route? Because I don't see it. Nicole has changed her story so many times already. Absolutely, Natalie. Absolutely. And that's what makes it very interesting, very weird. I mean, honestly, I don't think they should have just let this woman go to roam the earth to find another man to ruin his whole life? Like, shoot. Watch her change her name or something, because I don't know how many other men are going to want to mess with this girl now. He got a babysitter, Catherine, for Saturday night, and he did go out with Nicole. That's where he had the charge for the salmon dinner and beers. You're sorry to ask, what is this video about? So, Kelly, we're discussing the document that was shared for public information about Christopher Watts's case. He was the Colorado man who killed his 15-week pregnant wife, Shanann Watts, and his daughters, Celeste and Bella, and they were aged 3 and 4. So, heartbreaking. Baby Nico that she was pregnant with, the little boy that he had always wanted. Um, you know, Heartbreaking. I don't know why, Sarah, they let her go. I think it's absolutely crazy. Yes, Rose, we can show that link. It is a few times it is put up on my site now, so feel free to log into that. It's close to 2,000 pages of all the investigation, everybody who was spoken to during the investigation, and what they had to say, what interaction they had with Shanann or Chris, and what that was. So Brandy says Kessinger, I think, wanted to do like that movie Fatal Attraction. Yeah, and G Marie, Nicole is a sick woman, endeavors or envious, sorry, of Shanann and the life they had together. She wanted it for herself. I agree. So like, and for those of you that are out there, in relationships and stuff like that, possibly dealing with infidelity and stuff, like, that's just heartbreaking, right? To think that, like, Shanann was messaging trying to tell Chris that she loved him and she just wanted to make love to him and smell him and laugh with him and all this stuff, and here he is doing all of that with someone else. So happily ever after makes you sick. She was wandering around the house. Absolutely. Totally. Just gonna check over my notes here one more time. And the fact that the Watts parents never even attended their wedding. Like he didn't like Ronnie Watts didn't like Shanann, and it's very obvious in his interview with the FBI and authorities that he was kind of bad mouthing her and stuff. He really didn't like her and thought that she was the cause of everything sort of falling apart. McKenna did babysit on Saturday for the Watts family, and authorities did interview her too with I believe it was her dad present. And it was one of the neighbors, yes. And they planned the baby, Martha Farias, yes. And she did buy him a book on relationships, but he threw that into the trash in the garage, I believe. Nicole's behavior is despicable, but infidelity is not a crime charged. Very true, Marina. As long as she didn't know what he was up to, she won't be arrested. Yeah, I feel like she knew some of what he was up to, but I'll find out after I finish going through this document, and I definitely will keep you posted for our next live on Tuesday to finish our conversation about all of this because I still have the other half of the document to go through. So should be good times though. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot of coffee, it's a lot of information for sure. Morally, figuratively, and literally corrupt. Sunkist says, yes. Like, who does that happily ever after? Exactly. Stephanie Hughes. I've been wanting Shanann gone. Nicole was the boost he needed to get rid of them. He'd been wanting the Shanann gone. Yeah, it was definitely him that was seeking the divorce and things like that. And he wanted the baby. He approached Shanann about having the baby. But like I said, I think it was the finances of everything that he just sort of decided that Nicole Kessinger was the better woman to be with financially. He wasn't going to struggle if he was with somebody like her, which is sad. Crocodile tears for sure, and probably for himself. You're right. Ellen, he'll be lucky if he gets a chocolate bar in prison. Yeah, exactly. Shanann suggested that she and Chris go away. Yes, and they were going to go to Aspen, right? But they never got a chance to make it to there, right? And I think that was going to be to rekindle their relationship together. Kessinger certainly contradicted herself, Sunkiss says. I totally agree. Nicole also eerily kind of looks like Shannon. A little bit looks like Shanann, yes. Hi, Ender. Thank you for watching. Hey, Spammy. We're okay. How are you? Just discussing this crazy document. It's close to 2,000 pages. It's a lot of information. And did anybody notice in Ronnie Watts's interview at the end of his interview with the FBI, he literally shows them a video of Cindy and the kids playing together. And, kind of basically trying to say, like, see, we care. Like, what? Like, what is that? And a book deal, I don't know, man. I'm sure, I guess somebody might, but I hope that the proceeds of that gets like taken and given to the Ruzick family, to be honest. Does anybody know if it is for sure if the Thrive Lavelle paid for the funeral? Because I have not read that information yet. And if somebody has, I'd love to know if that's been validated or not. Amber thought SP was single in the beginning. And she lived in a different zip code. She didn't have. Oh, Scott Peterson. Okay. Netflix show The Fall, Victims and Murder all had similar appearances. I know, Anzar. I really thought that was interesting. Like he's trying to show them that he cares by showing them a video of him, his family sort of interacting with the grandchildren. Like that should have been a no-brainer. Why is that something that you feel like you need to prove? But hi, Bunny the Bear. Has anybody at Chris Watts's work employee mentioned them both together? The only people that supposedly knew about the affair that I have read so far, which I'm about halfway through the document, you guys, is Nicole Kessinger's dad. He was apparently the only person who knew about the affair that I've read so far. Lots to read, Steve. You're right. If they get a book deal, I hope that the family turns around and, brings out a lawsuit on the book deal and tries to reap the benefits of that, because I don't think it should be something that she gets to reap. The case hits close home to you for G. Marie behind the mask. Mara reads the discovery documents. He did it all. Toxic people everywhere in this story. His parents are awful, April says. Yes. I don't understand their hatred for Shanann. I really don't agree with it. Like sit down and have a talk, or, try to work things out, but you don't actually have to, you don't actually have to just hate somebody or something. Like, I don't know. Thank you guys for sharing the document with everybody. I appreciate it. 100% was not Shanann. Oh, we definitely know that already is totally true. I am still waiting to find out if Alexa caught any of the confrontation between Chris and Shanann and recorded that. I have not seen that yet. So if anybody else has seen that, like, I would love to hear about that for real. My husband met his side chick at work and he got very violent. Luckily, I got away. She did me a favor. Interesting. Catherine. Yeah, no kidding. Tabitha. Glad you got away, Catherine, for sure. Hi, Gary. Hi, Lemon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Queldy Angelina says, my ex left me and he moved in with a pregnant girl. She was 24. He was 46. He lied. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You rebooted, Sandy. Glad you're back. Thank you for watching. If you guys are enjoying the show, any thumbs up would be great support. I appreciate that. And I believe the super chat is enabled for anybody who is wanting to send support to me and my channel through super chat. Yes, I can't believe the hate that's actually attached to the families for both sides, actually. I find that it really isn't, it's not necessary. Can't believe, yeah. I can't believe that they're not really coming to terms with the fact that he's confessed about it already so many times, right? I mentioned that there's super chat enabled, and please feel free to send any tips. I lose like 10 people. It's like, okay, folks, thanks. Ay. I mean, it does take a lot of time, work, effort. I've got student loans. I would love some assistance in paying off, You did thumbs up. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate it, you guys. I really appreciate the support. His parents, I feel, are a little bit messed up, for sure. And the story's changing so many times. And pay attention to the fact that Melissa Parrish, the new employee at Anadarko, saw Christopher Watts with a shovel digging, kind of like, sheesh, it's hot out here. And it was only like 8 a.m. It was too early for it to be that hot. So she saw him with a shovel digging at the work site, but she was so new that she didn't realize that it was anything out of the norm. And Watts just acted normal. And this was after he had already killed and dumped their bodies, Nicole Kessinger saying that she backed off of Chris Watts is a complete bold-faced lie, in my opinion. You know, she's trying to say that she was telling Chris Watts to make the relationship work and work on his marriage. That's a whole lot of crap. Like, she was definitely not trying to encourage that, but rather sleeping with him, continuing to discourage that exact thing, in my opinion. Had anything been said with Cindy since the sentence? No, she did the interview with the news channel or whatever, but I think that she realizes that it's okay, like, fine if you want to love your son and stuff, but like, you took the one opportunity that you had to tell him about what he did to your grandchildren and how that affected you, to tell him how much you love him and forgive him. I mean, you barely took the opportunity to say anything about your grandchildren and what he's taken away from your life, you know. It's heartbreaking to see, and it's like, I understand if you want to still love your son but not condone what he did and stuff, but at the same time, like, that the one time that you had to talk about your grandchildren, you didn't even take that. So, and then to just continuously blame Shanann and things like that, I don't know. It, to me, it doesn't matter how rude or mean you are. If someone is in a relationship like that and they're fed up with it, there's a many other ways to leave versus killing somebody. You know, that should never be an option, in my opinion. At least that I saw in the documents. So you haven't yet happily ever after. This country loves filing divorce. Yes, I agree totally. Any cameras at the work site? They are, but there's about 10 actually at the work site, but they're not maintenance very often and stuff. So because they had some issues with, um, defacing property, like, random kids sort of coming to destroy their property on the oil sites and stuff. So they kind of had to put up some, but I don't know if they were all working and stuff and recording. That was the thing. Sarah, she was trying to keep the relationship alive, but didn't realize how far gone he was. Yeah, or how far gone the relationship really was, right? It was hideous what the Watts mother did, how she turned and forgave him. Her grandbabies meant nothing to her. I know, right? Like, she could have been looking at him and telling him how she felt about what he had actually did. But they chose to blame and sort of like forgive and sort of not really go that route. I need a GoFundMe page, hun. Set one up. We can help you. Okay, I do have GoFundMe started. I don't know if there's anything particular. I do have PayPal as well, but set it up so we can help you further your career in criminology. That's awesome for sure. Mirror image of Chris Coleman case. Ladies, stay away from the guys named Chris or Scott. That's funny. I don't think we can necessarily lump them all together, to be honest. But what we should be saying to each other is, ladies, don't ignore your gut feeling. Don't ignore that small little inner thing that says to you, maybe this isn't a right situation, or maybe this isn't a healthy guy, or something could go wrong here. Listen to it, because it could be your last gut feeling, your last gut instinct, because you didn't listen to it, right? And I would hate for anybody else to lose their life because they didn't listen to their gut instinct about something and wanted to portray a happy married life, on social media to the world and stuff. Like, I don't think that was wrong. I think that was really awesome. And especially in this day and age with the way our technology is, that's just sort of the way to go. And Shanann sold cell phones very early in her career. So she had knowledge about, the new technology coming out and what it was capable of doing. And she used that to her advantage in spreading her business and growing. And she did that quite well, in my opinion. And that's something that should be commended and carried on, and her legacy should keep going. I don't think that we need to stop talking. Hi, Abelis. Hi, Detective Steve, FBI. We are talking about the Christopher Watts case and the document that was recently publicized of the entire investigation. with the FBI and the CBI. So, I think definitely we should continue Shanann's, beautiful legacy and way of life. I think that that's honorable to do for her. I don't think we should just forget about her, rest in peace, and never bring her up again. I think she would want us to talk about her and keep her name alive and have her beautiful smile, spread across the world to know. I mean, so many people in the world have fallen in love with this family now, and we never even met them, you guys. Like, that's phenomenal. And I think that that's something that should be admired. And there are some people in Shanann's friends that think that this is bold-faced rude and that we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be talking about it. I disagree. I disagree. And we are allowed to agree to disagree. I think that it's an amazing thing. She would have wanted this, in my opinion. This was what she was going for in life. I'm sure she didn't anticipate it was going to end like this, and this was going to be the way of doing it. But she wanted this, her name and her smile and her life out there broadcast for many to fall in love with and join and love, right? So yes, April, you'll see the story change even more so. It just continues to get very contradicting with Nicole Kessinger. Towards the end, Shanann was afraid of Chris Watts, and she vocalized that to many people. She did say that he had changed and she wasn't sure who he was. Why do I have a GoFundMe page? Zany, this past summer, I was recently taken for all of my money when I went for a trip to buy a vehicle in a province that's 3 provinces away from mine. I took a bus out to go and buy the vehicle. When I got there, I test drove it. I didn't have anybody check it out professionally. I thought I would bring it back to my province and have a garage check it here. And so I drove it back home from my trip, and I got it home and I found out that the dashboard had been switched on it. Then I tried to contact the person to get either go through the Better Business Bureau or maybe like a civil suit for, taking him to small claims court to try to get my money back and stuff. But I couldn't. The person who had sold me the vehicle didn't even write down his real name of who he was. So the information was all incorrect on my end. I couldn't find the person and I lost all my money. So I started a GoFundMe page because I thought that was just horrible. And I couldn't believe my luck and I couldn't believe what had happened, and I thought maybe there was some people out there. There's a lot of people in the world that sometimes own, dealerships or garages or maybe have something laying around or whatever. I thought by putting the story out there, maybe help would come. Nothing happened, so it's just sort of sat there. But it is what it is. I'm back to saving and trying to get myself back into a vehicle. So that's the reason, Zany, that I set that up. You will donate when you get paid. Thanks, Brandy. I do have a PayPal link attached to my YouTube channel for donations for anybody interested. I would 100% thank you, and actually even give you a shout out to your name if you want. If you don't want, I don't have to do that either. I know there's some people that were like, no, I don't want the shout out. It's like, that's fine too if you don't. You'd love to help with the GoFund. Well, so is it better for me to set up the GoFundMe, or is it better for someone else to set it up for me and ask for the help? I'm not really sure. What's the proper protocol proceeds to go with that? Sue is saying no, 6 months. Do you guys think that he will be alive in 3 to 5 years? Oh, and then you're saying nope, 6 months. Yeah, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier in the show, you guys, I have spoken with people who are from the correctional facilities and have said the guards don't want to have to deal with a riot from the general population, because somebody wants a piece of someone in protected population. So the chances of them turning around and looking the other way and allowing something to happen are pretty high. But, whatever, I mean, it is what it is. There's men out there who absolutely just loathe and just seethe at the fact that a man would hurt a woman or a child. So I think that he kind of made his own bed here and he's going to have to lay in it and it sucks for him. And I don't really have anything to say about that. Like, like you shouldn't have done what you did. I don't know what to say. It's kind of hard to have any soft feelings when you read the fact that he smothered his children with his own hand. Literally, like just smothered them to death and pushed so hard that he bruised and cut the inside of their gums, that he made his daughter bite her tongue because she was struggling to get out from underneath him. I mean, that's just awful to picture as you're reading it, you guys. Like, absolutely brutal that he chose to take his own babies' lives after watching them come into this world, knowing that Shanann sort of had some of the medical issues that she potentially had. I think that she possibly may have been misdiagnosed with the lupus or whatever, but she thought that she had these things. And it in their world, it was a miracle that they had conceived and given birth twice and was pregnant a third time, right? I mean, it was a miracle in a sense to them. And rightfully so. And children are just blessings and irreplaceable. And for him to bring them into this world and then take them out like that is just, it's just, like I'm trying to censor my words right now, so I'm like fumbling them a bit because I just want to start cursing and swearing. It just makes me want to go like up one side of him and down the other, and like I'm just furious that he thought that this. So Bunny the Bear. So is it better for me to set that up or for someone else to set that up? Though was my question. He's a dead man walking in prison, Zany. That's what I've heard too. Um, yeah, he's definitely a dead man walking. Serious Rich, that's fast. I give him 1 year. He needs to get there. Excuse me. Sorry. I believe it's mandated that he pay for the family's expenses. Yes, and the family's expenses and funeral costs and all of that jazz has yet to be filed onto his file. Actually, I'll go check that right now because Friday passed and I actually hadn't checked it since. I like to kind of check that every other day at the very very least. Come on, baby, think faster. You can do it. Yeah. See, yeah, no, there's nothing new on his Colorado judicial site where all the motions are filed. So I will keep you guys posted at anything that goes on there, though, for sure. Shanann was so innocent, yes, and faithful and beautiful. I mean, seriously, all of them were beautiful souls. He cannot pick up soaps. That's funny. He's got some demonic back tattoo thing. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how you turn off your feelings towards your own children, Chris is saying. I totally agree. 40 GoFundMe page. What did Bunny the Bear you're saying YouTube takes 45% of what's put on YouTube? Yeah. YouTube actually raised their threshold of what they wanted their content creators to achieve before they started payment, and then decided to take away payment for their content creators. So, I mean, I feel like they didn't really disclose that properly, in my opinion. And that's super frustrating because we all need to eat. We all have bills to pay. And some of us are really trying to do a good thing with the world here and spreading awareness on crimes and cases and trying to get, tips for law enforcement and missing people. And I don't know, like, I feel like, some things should be continued for certain people, and maybe not for Joe Blow that's, doing, how to manufacture guns or something like that. Maybe you're not going to pay him, but I don't know. Like, I feel like there's so many people out here that are trying to do a good thing. So, yeah, but Billy Johnson, I'm a troll. Okay, I'm a troll. I normally throw Love, please, but I love your feed. You're pretty cool. Oh, thank you. Well, that's very kind of you to say. That's really awesome. Bella was so cute. I don't understand how he could have shut off his feelings either. Like, absolutely heartbreaking to know how he had done that. That's very personal. And it takes a very long time to snuff somebody long enough that they literally have no more air left and you have killed them. It has been scientifically tested that that takes like, 4 minutes to actually physically do. That is a long time to stand over their bed holding over their nose and their mouth so that they can't breathe. Like, Mr. Anonymous, I don't like to pass judgment on anybody's life, really, to be honest. And if I am passing judgment, I make sure I've got some proof and stuff about what I'm like, for instance, this Chris Watts case. Like, I made sure to get my evidence before I made up my mind about him. So I have seen other people do that, feeding to obesity, and I feel like it's not really healthy, but to each their own. I used to be 318 pounds personally. I was very, very big, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't healthy. I was out of breath a lot. I couldn't even bend over and do my own shoes and stuff. Like, it was ridiculous. So I believe in my life being healthy is better. But that's not to say that you and your girlfriend are doing something wrong. It's to each their own. So, did my hearts wow, I heard 4 minutes, Sandy. That is why he was reluctant to show his hands. Maybe that's why he was holding his hands like that during the interview so much. That's a very good observation, actually. Laura Kays, how do you scientifically prove it takes 4 minutes? I had a feeling that somebody was going to say this to me. All I know is that the district attorney is the one that stated that it takes 4 minutes, and that was actually a proven fact. So I'm basing this verbal communication on that fact based on what the district attorney had stated. But I had a feeling somebody for sure was going to call me out on that. Where did somebody scientifically test that? But it was the district attorney that had said that that was something that had already been proven. So 4 minutes is a long time to, you know, be holding somebody's face like that, to be honest. So I don't know if Chris Watts will take his own life. I think that he probably will, but I think it's going to probably happen after somebody gets a hold of him, where he realizes he's really not safe and nobody's really on his side, other than maybe his fan mail and all that kind of crap. Sheesh. Yeah, well, Sarah, that's just brutal. Like, seriously. You love my hair? Thanks, Brandy. That's nice of you. Thank you. I believe Nicole knew about his plan. She talked with him on Sunday. Yeah, she talked with him on Sunday and Monday. They did talk a lot. You can't tell me that she doesn't know more than what she's stating. I feel like she does. Why the heck would she go and delete everything, right? So yeah, if there's no last minute questions, concerns, the link is up for those of you that haven't read this document yet. It will take a lot of time. Like I said, I've only had it for, a day and a half, 2 days, and I've literally been reading it nonstop, and I'm only halfway through it. So there will be more updates on Tuesday once I finish this document and go to my next live. So live on Tuesday between 2 and 4 again, and then we'll finish up the conversation about all of this. I believe hasn't the guts to kill himself. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see after somebody gets finished with him what he'll feel like after that. If there was evidence. Natalie, good for me for the 318 pounds. I always thought, Mr. Anonymous, that I'm a beautiful person. Doesn't really matter what size I was, but I wasn't healthy. I wasn't able to go out and do things actively and enjoy life and stuff. I was out of breath. It wasn't healthy. So, but to each their own. I mean that. So, thank you, Karen, for watching. Kessinger told police that she got fed up with Chris Watts on August 14th and deleted all the texts. Yep, that is in there. And that's what I'm talking about. That looks very, very suspicious. She wasn't sick of him all the way up until then, but all of a sudden now she's sick of him. I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. Virtual Asylum, so glad you could join. And so glad that you're in the document too. It's a lot, isn't it? Francis says, now that I see Chris Watts pleading for his family video, it makes sense. It was to impress Nicole. No wedding band, no patch. He was wearing up to like 3-4 patches a day. Nicole says that she saw him putting it on his lower back, on both arms, near his triceps and stuff. Nicole deleted everything. That's what I'm saying is really suspicious. There's no reason for her to do that. It's called a divorce. Exactly. Exactly. The FBI have advanced tools in 2018 that can retrieve deleted files, but there is a way to actually delete it all. I've heard, and I thought that there was proof of her actually searching that exact thing, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. I think you will see Nicole on Dr. Phil. Yeah, I think it's pretty funny that the officers that were doing an interview with her literally asked her if she thought that she maybe needed some mental health assistance. Like and she quickly kind of cleared herself up because she was crying and stuff, trying to act like she was the victim in this and stuff. Like, and it was really funny because one of the officers literally noted that he asked her that. If she needed any mental help. Did she think that she needed any mental assistance? And she quickly cleaned herself up and carried on with the interview. I was like, oh my, isn't that telling? Questions not visible. Sorry, what? I just saw somebody. Are my questions not visible? Maria, please let me find your question. I'm sorry. Sometimes there's so many here, girl. I miss it, and I just needed you to do that. Like, hey, are you missing it? And I'll go scroll up and I'll try to find Maria's question here. Maria, do you think that Shanann's Facebook Live video helped with the investigation? I'm not sure if the Facebook Live video helped with the investigation. I think it all pieced together, Maria. I think that it each played its own part in fitting together the whole picture of everything that happened with them, in the weeks and months prior to all of this. Any kind of tidbit information about possibilities of cheating that she was concerned about, that she shared with her friends, possibility of the fact that something was off with his demeanor and his personality and something just didn't line up anymore. So I think it all came together piece by piece with all these different people's stories, including pieces with Shanann, that played a role in fitting it together. So I hope that answers your question. I know that Nicole sent Chris Watts nudes, and Chris Watts sent her nudes as well. They both did. And he was also having sexting with his wife. So he was continuing to try to maintain his marriage while, Ellen saying she wants us all to be excited. Who? I really like the district attorney. I thought she was so professional and warm. Yes, the district attorney was really cool. But not, I don't know what woman you're talking about. The district attorney was male. So I wonder which prison he will go to, Boots says. Thrive is basically a caffeine buzz. Absolutely. Gives you mad energy. Jody Arias, she deleted everything and put the camera in the washing machine. Yeah, okay, but I mean, that didn't help. They were able to retract and get that information, and that was like a shoddy attempt at covering up her her act, right? What's my weight now, Steve? I think it's 165, 170 at most, something like that. Yes, I tried Thrive for a month. It really didn't do much for you. I think you got to do a lot of it and you got to regularly have it in your system. And I heard it's like, a few $100s to kind of maintain that life with it. They pulled it. Why can't they pull her shit? I think that they have. I just haven't gone through the entire document to see that yet. Kelly Magical, you are right, says she wants us all to be excited. She just wanted Shanann out of the way and Kessinger in his bed. I believe he did not know what to do after he killed her, so he ended the lives of his precious girls after. I don't know if there's going to be a movie to this. I wouldn't be surprised. Or maybe not like based or like it's going to be based on this, but it's going to be like a different. I think that there will be, is what I'm trying to say. Crying out loud. I can't find my words properly enough today, you guys. Can't talk properly. Crying out loud. The mother of Chris Watts is a piece of work, trashing Shanann after her son had murdered her. I can't understand her standing up for him, but my God, the girl's dead. I know, Jenny, and I can't believe that she spent her one chance to tell, her son what she felt about that in the courtroom by telling him that she forgives him and loves him and stuff. Like, she barely touched on the subject that her grandchildren are gone and she'll never get to spend time with them again and how that affected her, which makes her look kind of heartless. It didn't really affect her and it's not much of a loss. And, like, come on, woman. If you get that feeling, yes, ladies, I was saying that. If you get that feeling that something's not right, please listen. Intake supplements not Thrive, though. I hate caffeine, Sarah says. Lifetime movie Asylum. Yeah, I don't know. Sandra Bullock should play Shanann. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad one, eh? Bad, like that would be a good actress pick for her look a little bit for sure. Unforgivable for her grandbabies. Right, but for her son, the murderer, she's got forgiveness, but she can't really touch on the fact that her grandchildren are gone. Cindy says for him to do such a thing, he must have had pure hatred towards Shanann, and to kill her most precious kids, he knew she loved them more than life. Yeah. What a tearjerker. Sarah, you got that right. Melissa says she may not have liked Shanann, but that doesn't mean she wasn't a human being. Yes, she should have apologized. And you know what? At one point, if you're going to go through this document, at one point, she even considers calling up Sandra and trying to make things right and sit down. And, she felt that might help the relationship with her and Chris. Minu, no scratching back there. No, no, no. What will God do with him on Final Judgment Day? Steve, that is totally up to God. Sandy says Nicole Kidman wanted to sell the ring. Yes, she did. She said pawn it. He was asking her how much she thought they could get for it. So lots of information. The link's there for any of you guys who want to look into this document as well. As I've stated to you before, it is the handwritten notes from each person that they've spoken to, as well as the transcribed notes from each handwritten note. So you'll double read things quite a few times. And then there is a lot of the reports that are graphic, like be careful when you get to the autopsy. It is graphic and it is hard to picture. It's hard to read. So, and I'm going to tackle the other half of this document, and we will do another live on Tuesday between 2 and 4 GMT time. And we can discuss the rest of the document and sort of the final thoughts on Chris Watts and sort of maybe do one last tribute to Shanann, And I really, really appreciate all of your support. If the bear person is still on here, I can't remember. All I remember was there was bear in it, for crying out loud. If anybody's interested in sort of connecting with me outside of YouTube, you can find my Facebook link. Do maybe shoot me a private message with YouTube, because I have hundreds and hundreds of people that are sort of waiting to be approved, but I don't have enough room to take them all. They sort of all sit there. So I will have to go look for you or find you myself. So let me know if you're somebody who wants to connect with me outside. Rich Diello is 200 bucks. I don't know what you're talking about. If you are interested in supporting the channel, there is PayPal connected, and I am setting up a merchandise store. So I'm just sort of finalizing the logo and the store itself to share that information with you guys. Sorry it's taking long. I've been focused on the document, the 2,000-page document. I really want to get this sort of wrapped up with you guys together. So while it's public and everybody's talking about it, let's do this together. So I sort of put the logo in the merch store just on the side burner while I finish with this. By Tuesday, hopefully Wednesday, maybe we've got everything finalized, all of it. So very much appreciate everybody's support. Somebody's talking about the Dr. Phil show. Totally. I could see him taking this. And then, I just feel like I've missed so many of your guys' comments today. Like there's a lot of conversation and stuff. So if I have missed you, I will try to go back through all of these to respond individually. Chris seeks forgiveness. Well, I don't think that's for us to decide, that's for the higher up guy to decide on his forgiveness, right? YouTube deleted their message system ages ago. No, tiny magical creatures. You can still message me. I have a handful of people in private messages that you can still do. Cat merch. You're funny. Well, I could maybe include something that has my cats on it or something that could, if you're interested in that, I could look into that. I did want to just kind of do a simple logo, something like maybe justice scales, like, that sort of states the channel and my name, true crime stories with Ms. Sherry Weens, me. And then, you can sort of put that onto anything, but I will see what I can do about uploading the cat ones. And if you wanted to, take a photo of my cat and put it on something, you could kind of thing, So that's an interesting request. I've never heard of that, but they are beautiful and they're so cute. So I don't mind. You heard Frankie said it's not over. They may still be looking at her. Okay, well that's a good thing. To be honest with you, I feel like they shouldn't just let her go off the hook, Can you pin your Facebook page? I believe the link is literally at the top. Right as soon as you go on my channel, you can see the Facebook link. I think you can just click on it. It'll bring you right there. And then I did change my settings so that everybody could friend request me. But the problem with that, you guys, is that there's so many people sitting in the friend request and I don't have very much room to include everybody. So most of those people just sit there and I won't know if you're somebody who's wanting to connect that way too, So I may need you to shoot me a private message, find my email, shoot me a quick email. Just let me know who you are and that you want to connect outside of YouTube as well, kind of thing. So we'll definitely touch base on Tuesday, and I really, really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the show with me, a thumbs up would be awesome support. And we will be back Tuesday to discuss the rest of this document with Christopher Watts's case. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you stay safe out there, all right? And we'll see you again next time. Bye for now, everybody.